All right, there are now people here. Welcome, people joining on the live stream and here in the Zoom room. We'll start this session in apparently about 30 seconds. So you ready to rock and roll, Adam?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Always ready.
Hi, Irina and Rachel. Welcome. Thanks for joining me here inside this sacred Zoom room dojo of embodiment. It's nice to be with you.
All right, and if anyone would like to, feel free to drop your locations in the chat so Adam can sort of get an idea of where everyone's from and what you're looking forward to out of today's session. What are your expectations? As you're doing that, I might actually press record and get this show on the road. It's got a million different videos playing, so let me pause those videos. And there we go. So welcome everybody to this session. In case you weren't reading the schedule and you have no idea what you've just jumped into, this is all about how to ask what you really want with Adam. And you've probably seen Adam now. He's done a couple of sessions so far, and he's also the co-creator of the Empowered Relationships course that will go deeper into what this event's all about. So he's a human connection and boundaries coach, and he's founder of the Togetherness Festival, amongst other things. So to start things off, I'll be hosting. So I'm Steve. If you see me replying in comments on YouTube or on the live stream or whatever, if you have any questions, type to me there. Same if you're in the Zoom room. And a few things I'd recommend: put some headphones in if you want to maintain some confidentiality and if you're unsure about what language is going to come up. If you're in the Zoom room, that means you're in our Embodiment Dojo, so you've got products from the past. So we'd love if you had your cameras on. Adam wants to sort of get some feedback from everyone. So please do have them on, even if you're sort of walking or cooking or something like that. If you're invited onto the screen, just be aware that it's recorded and live streamed. And if you're in a stream, don't worry about cameras because we can't see you. But if you want to join the Zoom room, you can do so. If you do purchase the Empowered Relationships course this week, we'll give you an invite into the Zoom room, so that's all good. I'll drop a link down there so you can see a little bit more about it as well. And please do share this with anyone who would benefit from more fun, better boundaries, deepening their intimacy in their relationships. So there's going to be replays available over the weekend. So it's not too late to share this now. However, it will be too late next week when your friends go, "Oh, that looked like a cool thing. What were you doing?" And then you're like, "Yeah, it was really fucking awesome." But then it's no longer available. So please do share it now. So I'll drop the link for that as well. Because we want as many people to benefit from this live event as possible. So that's why we give as much as we can away on this event. We're not holding anything back. However, if you do want to make that change in your life to really integrate some of these key learnings, that's where the course comes in. So the course is 8 weeks, it's live, it's in community, you get to practice with other people, go in breakout rooms. And as much as it's great to get some of the knowledge and learnings this week, if you really want to get that practice and integrate it into your daily life, that's what the course is for. So Adam's done that course along with Christina, who you may have seen about 3 times so far on this event. And that's for you if you've ever felt unsatisfied in your relationships, whether you're like frustrated to not getting what you want and you need, or you're lonely even though you're in a relationship, or you feel like you're the only one trying, then know that you're not alone. So creating healthy, happy relationships isn't actually easy. So it's about learning to set and respect people's boundaries, communicating openly, being playful and fun, meeting each other's needs. And all of these are skills that no one actually teaches us. We just pick it up. So what if you could feel truly seen, heard and fulfilled, imagining a world where your partner understands what you want without just dropping subtle hints, or imagining where you can communicate freely without getting sort of annoyed and having fights, using conflicts as opportunities for growth rather than destruction. Just have playful times, speaker-free evenings and feel connected. So it's possible, but it starts with you. So that's about what the course is about. And I'll show a short little video for you about the course, and then we'll get started with this session. So remember, key things: do invite your friends, check out this course if you'd like to be able to practice in community with other people. And really, as this session goes on, make sure you actually take something key away that you can apply to your life, because we do want you guys to benefit from this.
Have you ever found it hard to say what you're really feeling in one of your relationships?
Relationships are at the core of everything we do. Whether we're relating to a stranger, relating to our partners, it's all about relationships.
This is for you if you've ever struggled with saying what you really want or desire, communicating with your partner.
Whatever your gender, your sexual orientation, if you want to have more fulfilling relationships, then this is for you.
Learn to fully show up for yourself in every area of your life.
So with that, the early bird offer for the course does expire next week, so you've got plenty of time to think about it. And if it is something that feels right to you right now, you can do that. However, plenty of time to think about it. But really, if it's not for you right now, just enjoy this session and get as much out of it as you can with Adam, who, as I mentioned, a few things about him, but he really supports people coming into their personal sovereignty, inviting them into authentic connection and helping people's relationships flourish. So his background is as a comedian and is also a passionate intimacy advocate. So Adam, take over.
Thank you so much, Steve, and welcome everyone, wherever you are in the world. In fact, I invite you to put in the chat, where are you in the world? And let's say out of 10, how good are you at asking for what you want generally? I know there's different areas. This could be like relationships and work and family, but it'd be very interesting to see how good out of 10 do you feel you are at asking for what you want. And in this session tonight, we're going to get into this business of how can we ask for what we want and why is it difficult? And we're going to look at the structures around that. We're going to look at how it affects our levels of intimacy and connection with others and also of ourselves, our kind of sacred, I like to say it's like our sacred bond with ourselves to really know what it is that we want and to be able to feel that. It feels like, to me, I use the word sacred. It feels like something really embodying. We're going to look at some techniques to get clean with our language and asking for what we want. And towards the end, we're going to do a live role play. So I will be inviting a couple of volunteers to role play with each other, actually asking live some different scenarios that we've got. And just as the chat's coming in a bit more, it's almost like intimacy is in two parts. It's almost like that. If we really wanted to simplify it, so let's say there's two parts. Part one is being able to show up authentically and saying that's not what I want right now, or I'd like something different, or I'm not comfortable with that. It's like this sort of no part, right? And this is the other part. This is like opening up the doors to what is it that we want? What is it we do want to allow to come towards us? What is it? What is my beautiful, unique, and possibly strange thing that I really desire and want to show up within the world to be really seen and accepted? So part one is like the no, and the second part is the yes. Like, can I ask for this? I would like to ask for this. So let's have a look. There's some 5s and 4s and 8s and 3s, and what I want to say is, wherever you are with it, I want you to don't give yourself a hard time about it, because this is not what we're taught. In fact, quite the opposite. We're mainly socialized to put other people's needs in front of our own the whole time. It's a bit like if you're having a dinner and the kid at dinner that wants to eat the last roast potato or something, and you need to offer it around. You're taught to offer it to everyone before you're allowed to eat it yourself. And in a minute, we're going to look at these reasons that we lose connection, we lose our embodiment of our desires a bit. We're going to look at that. But first, I'd love to do a little meditation with you, and it is around this word yes. And thank you so much, everyone, for writing in the chat and sharing. It really helps to build a texture. So wherever you are, I invite you to close your eyes. Feel your feet on the ground. Allow your spine to lengthen. And imagine there's a golden thread going from the top of your head up into the heavens that's suspending you ever so gently. With each breath, come more into your body. With every breath, feel more at home in your body. And now I want you to take the word yes. Yes. You can speak it in your head, yes. And feel the texture of that word, yes. And perhaps you even want to start mouthing it with your lips now, yes. Yes. And maybe even speaking it out loud. Yes. And maybe there's some impulse to start moving your body with this a bit. How does your body want to move with the yes? Yes. Yes. And notice the texture of this word as it comes through your body and through your lips. Yes. What are you doing in your body with this word? Yes. What is it you want to say yes to in your life? Yes. What is it you'd like to allow to come towards you? You'd like to move towards? Yes. 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 I invite you to come back to a stillness now and open your eyes. And I invite you to write in the chat one word or two words about what you're experiencing in your body now, or how this experience, how's your relationship with this yes that we just did? Yes. Oh, yes. Melissa says her shoulders relaxed in the process. Wendy says it feels very rich in texture. Yes. Expansion and easiness. There's a sense of confidence, feeling more confident. Yes, I'm allowed to feel. Yes, I'm allowed to have desires. Yes, I'm allowed to ask for what I want. Heart opening, says Irina. So this yes, this opening, this gives us access to more of who we are. This whole day is about connection, about depth of connection. And this is a big part of our authenticity, is being in touch with our desires and being able to ask for them and to move towards them. There's Annalie says there's excitement. Yeah, what could happen if I ask for what I really want? So this is a really important part of our embodiment and of our personal sovereignty, of our autonomy, of our individuation. Of this, again, I'm going to use the word sacred, this sacred coming into our being, fully inhabiting our being. Say that I feel this sense of expansion. Yeah, I'm allowed to desire, I'm allowed to be in touch with the world. I'm allowed to enjoy the sunshine on my face. I'm allowed to enjoy jumping into the cool waters and rolling on the grass. And I'm allowed to enjoy seeing your face. I'm allowed to enjoy being seen. There's this sense of this sacred expansion that comes from this relationship. So, okay, so it's healthy to be in touch with this. It's really important for our relationships. So now we're going to look at what is What is difficult about it? Why can it be hard? Why is it that so many people are like, oh, I'm 4 out of 10 at asking for what I want, I'm 3? Why is that, right? And I want to invite you to write in the chat, what is difficult for you about asking for what you want? What is hard for you about it? What are you risking, or what is your experience of it? Let's see if there are some common themes that emerge from this. Classic one to kick us off, fear of rejection. And that might be, wow, it might be this fear of like, oh, it's so weird what I want. They might not like it, or it might be they might say no, or they might not like me. They might push me away. Risk of being misunderstood creates vulnerability. Yes, it's vulnerable. You're showing this part of yourself, like, oh, this is what I really want right now. Desire to be absolutely sure. Yeah, so there's this desire like, I only want to ask if I can get it, because it's too painful to not get it. It's too painful to be misunderstood. It's too painful to be misinterpreted, or to be judged. And what I'd like to do is, Steve, would you be able to share my first slide, please? Thank you. And whilst Steve's loading that up, Lynn said, changing my mind. 1 minute I need X, and an hour later I want something different. Yes, we're human. We change our minds, and that is okay. That is totally okay. So I've jotted some down on this background of ecstatic psychedelic jellyfish, because I thought that would add a sort of fun texture to this subject. So Steve, if you click, they should fly in, whoosh, like that. So what stops us from asking for what we want? I don't know what I want. It's confusing. Yeah, anyone ever had that? Fear of rejection, we've covered that. This sense of not feeling worthy, like I'm not allowed. Other people are allowed their desires, but I'm not allowed mine. Feels tender, that one. Or feeling like a burden. Feeling like a burden, like for me to get my needs or desires met burdens other people. That's painful. I feel that's painful. Being seen as weak. If I have desires, I'm weak. I should be like a Spartan, stoic person who has no need. I have no needs. That's the only way to be strong, right? Oh, there's so much coming through in the chat now. There's a lot of stuff about rejection. This one, even nice feelings can be overwhelming. Yeah. And that's the last one on my list here, is like, they might say yes. If I ask for what I want, they might say yes. And then, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Yeah, there's more stuff about worthiness, indecisive, I don't know. Oh, fear of being too much, possibility of being diminished. Yeah, afraid I'll be considered unreasonable for wanting that. I'd be a bad person for having wants or needs. I don't want to rock the boat. I'm afraid they might be angry if I tell them what I really want, or if I ask them. This one's also a really tender one. My needs have been denied so often it becomes unsafe to ask again. It's like, oh, I don't want more trauma and rejection. Oh, that's the last thing I want. These themes around being seen as selfish, self-indulgent, guilt around having needs. I'm afraid my needs won't be respected, that I won't be respected. It's again one about being misinterpreted, and just how painful is that? Just how painful when, oh, I feel that. Unsure, I don't know how to ask. Yeah, quite often we're not taught that, right? And if there's this idea that if I open the magic genie bottle to my needs, maybe it's just going to be a cascading avalanche, and I'm just going to have too many needs and be too much. And there's an interesting one just come up in the chat, which is, I worry that the other person might say yes when they mean no, and then begrudge me. Yeah, so there's this idea, like, I'm not sure if the other person is capable of answering this question honestly. And that's tricky. And that's something we covered a bit in my first seminar on Monday, is around, was it on Tuesday? But it's just about this ability to be able to say no makes other people feel more relaxed about us and makes us more trustworthy. And yeah, it's difficult. Thanks, Steve. We can pull that down now. And thanks again, everyone who's taking part on the live stream and contributing in the chat. It's really helpful and rich to have this. Thanks, Steve. So, okay, there's loads of reasons why it can be painful to ask. We know that now. So let's look at a different question. And this question is now around, well, okay, so instead of asking, because it's difficult, what do we do instead? What are the behaviors that we have instead of asking? And I want to invite you again to have a think about this. Like, what do you do? There's something you want at work, with your family, out in the world, and it's too difficult to ask. So one example for me, it would have been like going to a restaurant and getting served a drink that I didn't, the wrong drink, and like not wanting to make a fuss and just drinking it anyway, but not liking it, and then being resentful about paying the money for it. That's one thing. And let's see how we deal with this. So there's lots coming in the chat. Let's have a look. I'm an easygoing person, so tend to not think about it, but it can get out of hand. Yeah. So I deny, this is like someone's doing, it's easy. I deny all my preferences and needs. Has anyone ever done that? There's this, we can shut down to protect ourselves. So we stop our ability to feel pain. And the mirror of that is it stops us from being able to feel pleasure so much as well. And it becomes harder for us to know what we want. So this is great. Someone says, I drop hints or pretend I'm fine with what I don't want. Oh, it's moved so quickly. Pretend that I'm fine with what I have or I'm getting. And if any of you have ever met English people, this is a terribly English thing to do. Just, oh, no inconvenience at all. No. In fact, do you remember, did you watch National Lampoon when they're in Europe and the Griswold family runs over this guy on his bike? And he's like, basically, he's got broken bones and he's like, oh, no bother, just a scratch, no worries at all. And they ask him directions and he points somewhere and you can start seeing his, it's so English, it's so funny, like everything's okay. I overthink it and the moment has gone. So if I ask and receive, I owe you something I don't want to give. Wow, yeah. Needed to take a deep breath around that one. This is stuff that gets played out all the time in our relationships, and especially around sexuality, is that it doesn't feel clean. It's like, if I do this, then you, if you do that to me, then I have to do something to you. And this is one thing that we do as well, giving to get. So I would like a shoulder massage from you, but I'm too shy to ask. So I'm going to give you a shoulder massage and I'm just going to hope that you're going to ask me. Oh, this is a great one. Ask other people what they would like. This is another kind of denial of my own thing. Do it myself. Avoid trying to get my needs met. I start to get angry. And I'm going to go out and say, Anger is a healthy emotion, and it shows us that some part of us is being violated in some way. Avoid my feelings, kid myself, it's okay. Yes, I use humor with a bit of passive aggressiveness. Oh, I love that, Rachel. And I love doing that. And I feel that's quite English as well. I secretly hope that someone else will fix the problem for me while pretending it's fine. Yeah, this is a great one. Is telepathy, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to ask for what I want, but I'm just going to try and make them think about it, and then get resentful for the person if they don't get it. It's also disassociate and leave. I've jotted a few down. We've covered lots of great ones. Steve, if you could share that slide again, please. Let's have a look at these. This is great. It's really rich what's coming through in the chat. And I find this can create a really nice precursor for stepping into the courage and aliveness of asking for what we want. So let's go to the next slide. What do we do instead? Let's have a look. Yeah, focus on other people's needs. We've talked about that one. Quietly sulk and feel unseen. And this has this tone of like shrinking away from the world and denying needs and contracting and not being able to feel so much and almost becoming invisible, like losing our sense of self. This is great. Communicate in a fluffy, unclear way, being vague and indirect. So never asking for what you want, but maybe talking about something similar. And following on from that is making statements. It's like a kid who wants something special for their Christmas or Diwali, right? And oh, it'd be really nice. It'd be really nice if I got a Star Wars X-Wing for Christmas. It's making a statement instead of saying, I'd really like an X-Wing for Christmas. There's a difference, right? Getting bitchy, snarky, resentful, and feeling insulted when they don't get me. Yeah, it's like this idea of pushing other people. They're not good enough. I don't like them. They don't get me. They should get me. Yeah, telepathy. They should be able to read my mind. Give to get, something that we talked about. Avoid expressing the need. Fixing others instead. We looked at that. Suppress and retreat. We looked at that. And then this is a little list of ways of avoiding the feeling, ways of avoiding the need, right? Watching Netflix, eating chocolate, smoking a cigarette, drinking, eating big blocks of cheese, whatever it is that you eat to fill the emptiness. Ruminate and become passive aggressive. Walk away, leave the relationship. Okay, this one deserves us pausing on for a moment. Has anyone ever done that? You couldn't express your needs in the relationship. You got resentful that your needs weren't met. And you're like, right, I'm out of here, without trying to address it in some way. Anyone ever done that? I think I did that in quite a few of my relationships. Being angry with yourself and others. Yes. Self-blame. Oh, I'm so bad. I can't do it. Turning inwards. And then the last one is manipulation. And it kind of sounds heavy, but the thing is we do it all the time in various little ways. Like the salespeople will do that. Oh, you look so good in that. That's the last one that we have in your sights. These are all little manipulations to make you feel, instead of saying, look, I don't know if a salesperson would be successful doing this, but imagine they said, listen, I really want to go on holiday with my boyfriend. And if you buy this, I'm going to be that much closer to it because I'm going to get a little commission on it. I'd really like you to buy it. But at least it would be honest. But yeah, we do this in our lives in subtle ways the whole time. And when we look at this list, I don't want you to think, oh, these are bad and they're wrong and I'm such a terrible person for doing this. We're looking at this to bring it into our awareness so that we can understand how we operate. And then we can choose something different if we want. We can move into a different way of being. And you know what? Looking at that first list of all this, like fear of rejection and pain and fear of being misunderstood, and we can have compassion for ourselves for doing these things, right? We can have compassion to ourselves for this. All right, Steve, we can close that one up now. Thank you. So let's think about this before we go into the role plays. What are the problems that you could see arising from using these strategies? What are the difficulties you think we might encounter from trying to use telepathy? From making ourselves small? From denying our needs? How's it going to show up in our relationship? So it lacks authenticity and undermines our sense of identity. Yeah. We lose trust and self-esteem. Yeah, I can imagine that too. Lack of communication and satisfaction. Yeah. We never get what we want, right? We never get to move towards our desires. It creates internal polarities and discomfort, disconnect from myself. Unhappiness in relationships, right? And that's what we're focusing on this week. I feel deeply unfulfilled. Yeah, I know that feeling. As a recovering people pleaser, this was my life, making myself small, giving myself a terrible time for even having an idea about having needs or desires, and completely shutting them off. Someone said we communicate only with that strange voice inside our heads and get no closer to the other person or the people. Yes. Yes. Yeah, like let's just stand behind these masks. It's simply not fun. I like that. And I second that. Like play and fun are important to me. We get sick of it. Yeah. Burying my true self, lose track of self, lose honor, fake relationships, right? So, okay, we know what we're doing. We know why it's hard to say what we want. We know the behaviors that we do instead, which we have compassion for ourselves for. And now we know also how it affects our relationships. That this is, okay, this is hindering us in some way from being playful and fun and truly connecting, truly being seen. And I come back to this word. For me, it's something so powerful and sacred to be seen and accepted for who we are. When someone feels vulnerable enough that they can share that with you. And it doesn't have to be as profound as that. It can start be like, oh, I'd really love to eat an ice cream cheesecake with you. Would you like to do that with me? Right? But it starts creating this trust where it can end up like, hey, I really want us to go on a 7-day kayaking tour and in this place in the Lake District. And I want to go over the summer solstice because there's this sunset behind this hill that's so beautiful. And I want to sit with you there and you know, I want to smell the moss and then look in your eyes and and then I want to do a kind of, I want to make a fire and dance around it naked with you, or whatever you want to do, right? It's like we build this thing. I want to say again about having compassion for ourselves for where we are. Compassion. Quite likely your mum and dad didn't sit you down and say, right, this is how you say no, this is how you say yes. It's a good thing to feel desire and to enjoy embodiment in this world, and this is how you do it. Like, probably they didn't say that. Probably at school they didn't teach you that. More likely at school, if you ever expressed anything about your own beautiful, unique weirdness or desire, most likely people took the piss out of you and shut you down. So wherever you are with this, it's the perfect place. Moment of self-compassion. I invite everyone to take a deep breath into that sense of compassion for where you are right now. Oh. I'm wanting to say to yourself, I'm allowed to make time and space for my needs and desires. Oh. We're going to do such a great thing at the end. We're going to make a great thing at the end together to embody this feeling of I'm allowed. But I'd love to do some role plays with you now to explore this. So are there two people who would be willing to explore and do a role play with each other live on the camera now? Yeah, Biddy, awesome. And Irina, fantastico. Steve, could you please do the thing? Hi, Irina. Is that pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes. Irina.
Irina. Oh, I love that. And Biddy?
Hi.
Hey, Biddy, welcome. Thanks so much for joining, you two. So what I'd like to do is do a couple of role plays, and maybe we could start with Irina. You are doing the asking, okay? And Biddy, you're doing the asking, and then Biddy, you're going to tell us what the flavor was of that asking for you, how it felt to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to put it. Irina, can you see the chat? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In fact, let's just try this. I'm going to just ask you flat out. So, Irina, you are you're out somewhere really nice, a nice organic vegan cafe or something like that, very trendy with Biddy. And you've ordered something and it's like, it's okay, but Biddy's thing looks really lovely. It looks really good and you would like to try it. And it was quite expensive as well. You know, these places are very expensive. So the role players would like you to ask Biddy, you want to have a spoon of her organic vegan chocolate cheesecake. So how are you going to ask? Let's do that.
Oh my God. Biddy, your organic cheesecake looks like so nice. Would you mind if I just have a try?
Would you like me to respond straight away?
I like you both to take a breath and notice, Irina, how was that? And Biddy, how was that? And Irina, how was that for you to ask?
But I like the chocolate cheesecake. There is no boundaries to ask.
It was easy for you, huh? Okay.
Yes.
And Biddy, how was that for you?
It was a little bit like being told that the number 39 bus is just passing. So there was very little sense that Irina actually wanted to try some of this. It was very throwaway. oh, I think it looks really nice and I'd like to taste a bit. It wasn't kind of, oh, I'd really like to taste some of your cheesecake. So I felt you were very polite.
Okay.
In a way that maybe would not get you a piece of my cheesecake, which in my mind, by the way, was spanakopita, you know.
That's a good point. So what was interesting for me is at the beginning, you said, oh, that looks really nice. And starting with a statement, right?
Yes.
So the statement avoids the pain of asking for something in a way. I mean, it can be good to make a statement, but that was interesting. So let's try something different. This time, Biddy, you do the asking, and your colleagues at work, and Irina has been mispronouncing your name every time she speaks to you, and you'd like her to pronounce your name correctly. Okay, so in your own time.
Irina, I would like to borrow you and your ears for a moment and to ask you for something very specific. My name is Biddy, and you're always calling me Betty. Can you hear the difference between Biddy and Betty?
Oui.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Great. So could you try, just for fun, saying Biddy?
Biddy.
Perfect. Could you just scrub Betty from your mind, and when you see this face, think Biddy?
Okay. Biddy.
Thank you. Fabulous. And if you continue to call me Betty, I'm going to just gently remind you of Biddy.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Lovely. And I invite you both to take a deep breath and notice the aftertaste of that. What's that like? And Biddy, how was that for you?
I felt a little bit like a bully because I kind of pounded into it. But it's interesting that people often call me Betty or Buddy or whatever. So it's like it has a bit of a zing for me, that particular thing. And I think that Irina, with her lovely accent, might think she's doing really well with Betty. But I was just wanting to be as clear as daylight.
I sensed that, and it's interesting you say that people do that to you in real life, because it did feel to me like there was a real force of like, this is really why, almost like there was a tiny little bit of anger in there.
They don't do it for long, Adam.
They don't do it for long. I can imagine. I'm definitely not going to call you Betty.
Thank you.
And Irina, how was it for you?
Oh, it was a bit. I feel myself a bit attacking, so a bit too much.
Sure.
So that's why I probably pull back somehow. Okay. So it was a bit the moment of frustration.
So I noticed that as well. You it looked like you retreated. You became a little bit passive, like,
yes,
Biddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a bit like, okay, I'm not gonna. Yeah. And so this is a great teaching moment.
Yes.
Because we can really worry about how things are going to land for the other person. And we can try to look after them to the point where we get afraid to say what we really want to say. Right? Now, in the perfect world, everyone has this sense of embodiment and sovereignty, and we can communicate without getting into a big argument. So we can say, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm going to call you Biddy from now on. And you can say, oh, I feel a little bit attacked. You could say that I feel that was a little bit aggressive. I feel a little bit shy about that. And I'd really like us to communicate very cordially.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever it is that you're desiring. And it's like we want to avoid getting into this attack and defense because the nervous system start doing crazy things, right? So this was a good moment. Let's try something else. Okay, Irina, what's like your favorite thing to be done by a partner? A kind of let's say a non-sexual thing, but can be contact.
Hug.
Say that again.
A hug.
A hug. What kind of hug?
Quite close.
Yeah.
Quite like a bear.
Like a bear. Yeah. Okay. So would you ask Biddy for what you would really like? Take a breath if you like.
Yeah.
What's going on for you, Irina?
I don't know. I can't. It seems easy, but
I invite you to sit back a little bit. You feel your feet on the floor. And do you notice this? Is there anywhere in your body that feels where you feel this is stopping this desire?
it's a solar plexus.
And is this something that you would really like to receive a hug?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Can you put your hand on your solar plexus? Give compassion to yourself. And you could say in your head, I'm allowed to ask for what I want. And say that in your head, I'm allowed.
I'm allowed to ask what I want.
Yeah, my feelings are valid.
My feelings are valid.
I am Irina and I am real.
I am Irina and I'm real.
And I'm allowed to ask for what I want.
And I'm allowed to ask what I want.
Take a couple of breaths. And if you'd like to try again to ask.
Biddy, can I have a hug?
So take a breath, both of you now.
I would be delighted to give you a hug, but the only one I can really offer you is this, because we're far apart.
And we can all do Zoom hug pose now, aka self-care pose.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you for giving.
Irina, what was it like to ask?
It's some kind of freedom inside, but it's still a bit tensions in solar plexus, but it's much more easier.
We're just stretching. We're stretching a little bit, huh? We stretch a little bit. And Biddy, what was it like to receive that request?
It was so nice. It was so very tender and direct, so that there was, it was a real request, and there was no sense of it being forced. It was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irina and Biddy, for coming up and doing that. I want to say thank you.
A pleasure.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Fantastic. And we could see in that just how vulnerable it can be to ask for what we really want, and how it's so important with our partners and with others for there to be a sense of safety and trust, because it's tender, right? It's tender. So I invite you to move with compassion for yourself in this arena. Yeah. And everyone. So well done, everyone. Thank you for that. And I'd like to invite everyone to do a short activation around this, if you like. I invite you to, if you want to take part in this, you can do it sitting or you can stand up. And hopefully you can see me okay. And I invite you to hold your arms out, expand out to the world, and repeat after me, except you use your name, right, instead of my name. My name is Adam, and I am real. And I am allowed to take the time and space to ask for what I want. My name is Adam, and I am real. And I am allowed to take the time and space to ask for what I want. Last time. My name is Adam, and I am real. And I am allowed to take the time and space to ask for what I want. And I invite you to stay there for a moment and imagine all the things that you want or coming towards you. You being open and receptive to receiving them with ease, with grace. Just like breathing. There's no drama. We're just humans being with each other, asking and receiving and communicating. Let's go from there into a little self-care again. Acknowledging the tenderness of being human. And when you're ready, we can come back to sitting. If you're not. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I really enjoy doing these sessions. Thank you to Irina and Biddy for coming up and demonstrating. Thanks for all the great chats on the live stream. I'm super excited about this workshop coming up, where we get to practice live together in little groups. Steve, thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. And I'm going to come back to Adam in about 5 minutes to get his top 3 takeaways or tips around this area. So a summary of what he's talked about in this session. So hang around for that. Everyone as well, I'd like to invite you to write in the chat your top takeaways. What was something that you learned from this session that you can actually apply into your life, something that you can put in straight away or practice the next day or week or month in order to just improve your relationships that little bit. So we want to see, maybe we can inspire each other with what you've learned, along with having something to actually take away. As I said at the start, also replays are available over this weekend. So you'll be emailed if you're registered, which means if you've got any emails from us at all, you're registered. But also remember, you can still invite friends or family, and anyone who will thank you for inviting them, they can catch up on all the previous sessions on the replays if they do that. So I'll pop a link in the chat for that. And then a reminder, as Adam sort of alluded to a tiny bit in terms of this course, the early bird offer for the relationships course will be running out next week. So there's plenty of time to still consider it, deciding whether you really want to integrate these learnings into your life. And I'll show you a little bit about what's inside each week, so on the 8-week course, and have a little look at how it's you may get out of it. So let me just click over here. So on the 8-week course, as we've said, there's pre-recorded video content. There's also 8 weeks of live tutorials, and they're twice a day to suit all time zones. There's one at 9 AM UK time, which is also good if you're in Asia or Australia or New Zealand or something. And there's also this time at 6 PM, which works if you're over in the Americas, and both times work for Europe and the UK. And there's going to be small learning groups, which means that you can actually get to learn with other people and apply that stuff. And as I said, there's an early bird offer where it's 50% off next week. And that's just to, and then of course, the course will be starting on the 12th of August, I believe it is. It's the 14th. It's the middle of August, towards the middle start of August. So there's a whole heap in the course in terms of what you're actually looking at from week to week. Week one's all about starting with yourself. So it's self-connection, self-care, stress management. Of course, Adam, feel free to jump in here if there's anything you want to add about this as I show you each week, because you're the one of the people who filmed the whole of this course. So it's becoming aware of your body, your self-care, noticing all these things, why pleasure is important in order to build the foundation for the rest of the course. And then you're starting to look at how you connect with others. So dynamics, different myths about fitting in, being yourself, what's here now. So noticing actual stuff with other people and starting to connect authentically.
I'd like to say, Steve, that in the second week, there's some brilliant practices about, because we always talk about, be authentic in relationships, but we give really awesome practices you can start doing to cultivate that in yourself.
Exactly. And as we've said, there's going to be pre-recorded videos. You'll have those there forever to check out on the course platform. So you sort of get that along with the live sessions. And live sessions will, again, you will have access to them forever. So it's not like if you miss it, you don't get to see it again. So you'll be able to go back to it and practice. And you'll also be in those groups to practice with other real humans. Then next week is starting to look at boundaries. That's what yesterday was about on this event, but it's really a deeper dive into it and distinct practice. So whether it's looking at no poses, responsibility to yourself, how boundaries are important for yourself, compassion, limits. Adam touched on anger here today. So looking at that as a healthy indicator and what stops you from saying no. Week 4, going into, as Adam just talked about a little bit today, desire and requests. So also had a little bit of a look at desires on the opening session of this week, but looking at needs versus wants, shame, antidotes, and again, lots of different practices. Joy tennis, learn to be okay with not getting what you want.
Yeah,
this requests, as was here today. And Adam.
So yeah, this it's we cover this a bit today, that how hard it can be to actually know what you want. So we have some awesome practices for gently waking that up and getting in touch with it and stretching it out. Again, really cool practices that you can play with anyone this week.
And over the remaining weeks, so I'll go through these each as we go on. Looking at attraction as an active practice, so it's something you actually practice, not just something that comes. Week 6, handling conflict, which again was a little bit looked at, say, by Christina this morning. And there's also some more sessions coming up on that. I think it's tomorrow. Or is it later tonight? So there's one on conflict. I'll go over that in a minute. Leveraging playfulness, which again was week 1, looking at curiosity, desires, play, and some games as well. And then finally week 8 is sort of bringing it all together and how you can actually take it away into your life. And just to look at some of the stuff which is actually some of the packages which are available. So there's the package for everyone, which includes all the videos, the 8 live tutorials in 2 different time zones. You can attend both if you want as well in terms of the time zones. Ongoing peer support, so overall nearly 30 hours of learning. You'll also get the first 3 days of the recordings from this event. So they're all the days that apply to everyone. You have journals, peer groups, private Facebook groups, and extra bonus workshop. And the second package, which is a coaches package, that's all any coaches, facilitators, teachers, anyone works with anyone else. There'll also be 12 extra sessions on handling relationships and coaching and facilitation, because often trainings don't necessarily give those skills as well. So anyone who comes up with that when they're coaching, how to work with that. So there's all the stuff in the previous one, plus a whole heap on coaching. We're going to have a lot of guests coming in to help with that as well. And finally, the final one includes all of the stuff of the previous ones. Also, you'll get a one-to-one coaching session with either Christina or Adam, so your choice, and also a whole heap of coaching demo videos around intimacy, leadership, and other topics, and a lot of bonus talks on these areas, intimacy and relationships from the conference. So there's those 3 packages. You can check each of them out, feel what's right for you, and there's almost a week until this early bird offer expires. So you can really consider that and then come back to it. All right, so remember, invite your friends, check out that course if you'd like to do so. You've got plenty of time to decide. And there's also a whole heap of different good stuff still coming up this week. So later tonight, we've got Embracing Your Weirdness with Others by David Leung, and A Perfectionist Guide to Not Ruining Your Relationships with Vix Anderson, who's got authentic relating background. And then tomorrow's more so for coaches and facilitators, or anyone who does anything with other people. It's looking at relationship dynamics, supporting pleasure, helping clients do conflict well. We've got some bonus sessions on Friday, so check out the schedule. Adam, your final top takeaways.
Thanks, Steve. I want to say there's a couple of questions in the chat about when the course starts, and I think it's mid-August, but do you have the beginning date? Hang on, you've gone muted.
It starts on the 16th of August, I believe it is.
Yeah, but you'll have access to all the videos before that, I think, but the live calls start on the 16th, right?
And how that works as well is not all the videos become available straight away, because we know as people binge watch, so they'll be available week by week, so you don't just binge watch then forget about it.
Cool. Thanks, Steve. So my 3 tips: when you notice you want to ask for desire, take a breath. Feel into the desire. Where is it in your body? Take a breath, take a moment. Second tip, be compassionate with yourself. This can be hard. Don't give yourself a hard time, or rather, do be compassionate and loving with yourself. Take care of yourself. And the third tip is take small steps. Take it little by little and stretch those muscles gently. That's it. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, everyone. I'll do a little unmute of everyone, and you can head off onto your day. See you in 4 hours.
Ciao, ciao, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.